My presentation is based on option 1, which is to describe a strategy on how I would aim to increase intrinsic motivation in youth sport. John Wooden once defined coaching as being able to effectively teach those under his supervision how they could perform to the best of their ability in ways that best serve the goals of the team. Coaches play an important role in shaping the potential psychological, emotional, and physical effects of sport involvement. The most important role of a coach is to give information about the skills execution in the form of feedback, and has been found as a key tool in improving and learning motor skills. Intrinsic motivation refers to doing an activity for the pleasure and satisfaction derived from engaging in the activity itself. Besides obvious effective consequences of intrinsic motivation, being engaged in sport out of enjoyment and fun has been shown to be an important determinant of sport persistence and performance. A coach's motivation is as important as the athlete's motivation from a psychological perspective. The coach-athlete relationship is one of the most important influences on an athlete's motivation and subsequent performance. The coach's behavior can be influenced by the behavior and motivation of the athlete, which can determine whether a good or bad relationship is formed. In a study by Jowett, 2008, it was revealed that coaches who endorse low extrinsic, high intrinsic motivational attitudes were more autonomous and more closely connected with their athletes. Coaches need to provide a rationale for requested tasks, as well as for limits and rules. Research has shown that when setting limits and rules, offering a rationale for these regulations protects people's motivation by facilitating their endorsement of these rules. Without a coach's instruction and structure, athletes lack the necessary information and experience to progress, and without a coach's support and involvement, the athlete cannot feel connected. Positive feedback is important for intrinsic motivation. Effective instruction may be crucial to the pursuit of optimal sporting performance. A study by Tsetsis, Votsis, and Cortesis in 2008 showed that youth sporting groups that received positive feedback and correction cues improved self-confidence over time and were better than the groups which only received error cues. Mastery goal involvement is the combined definition of absolute competence and intrapersonal competence, which is performing a task to the best of your ability as well as learning and improvement. Coaches that are mastery goal involved have been shown to have a positive effect on their athletes in terms of intrinsic motivation, enjoyment, and effort, just to name a few. According to Conroy, Kay, and Coatsworth in 2006, a study on a youth martial arts group revealed that mastery-oriented coaching climates had a positive effect on the group during training sessions, with the youth having more fun throughout the season. Coaches should aim to be autonomy supportive, which is when an individual in a position of authority takes the other's perspective, acknowledges others' feelings, provides information and opportunities, and minimizing pressures and demands. They should also provide structure and get involved. A coach that is autonomy supportive favors an athlete-centered approach, and it is in the athlete's best interest that the coach nurtures their athlete's intrinsic motivation and self-determined types of extrinsic motivation. So summing up, the coach's role is to convey information, feedback, and provide structure, rules, and limits in order to improve the athlete's performance. Motivation levels are key factors to athlete participation, and coaches need to incorporate strategies to maintain a high motivation. Positive coach-athlete relationship has high influence on motivation. Positive feedback is to be used to maintain an athlete's intrinsic motivation and enhance performance. And a coach should approach athletes with a mastery-oriented climate. Now for a scenario, I am the coach of a youth basketball team, aged between 12 to 14. I need to ensure their intrinsic motivation levels stay high throughout the season. This should result in optimal performance, positive team morale, and ensure that the players return the next season. Now, ways to implement this strategy. From the start of the season, I'm going to establish a strong, positive coach-athlete relationship. I can do this by participating, communicating with the team, being enthusiastic for the whole season, and having structure, especially in training. Now, I'm going to implement a structured training schedule with clear instruction, and I'll include positive feedback and correction cues. I'm going to be consistent with each player, showing no favoritism. I'll provide weekly changes to the training, which include improving on weaknesses and consolidating on strengths. And these can be found throughout the season and reviewed during games weekly. I'm going to reinforce these with feedback and acknowledge the performance all season. We'll finish the season with summaries of the achievements and performances by each player and how these are increased throughout the year. And we'll celebrate the end of the season with an outdoor activity like a barbecue lunch, and we'll also include the team's parents just to get them involved as well and reassure the team of the next season's goals.